Well, a hockey game occurred in South Philadelphia. The Flyers fall 3-2 to the Vegas Golden Knights in what I would consider a mostly net neutral game until the very end. Both teams had very similar amount of pressure, the same amount of shots in basically all three periods. Obviously the same amount of goals until overtime, and then that ended how that did, but just a kind of weird game. I don't think the Flyers necessarily outplayed Vegas. I don't even think they necessarily stifled Vegas. I think it was more of Vegas didn't play to their full potential, because Vegas didn't look great. They kind of just looked non-committal to this game. But I also didn't think the Flyers played to their potential either. They kind of looked non-committal as well. So it was just kind of a weird neutral game. Ended in disaster when Travis Konecny, circling in his defensive zone in the middle of the overtime period, just like falls away from the puck. Jack Eichel takes it, makes one move, and Konecny essentially just gave up on trying to defend the turnover. And then he puts it in front. I think it was Mark Stone that stuffed it home for Vegas. So a disastrous play from Konecny, who I didn't think had a great game. But otherwise, I was not really impressed with Vegas. I wasn't really impressed with the Flyers. I think the best game that was played on the ice might have been Ty Murchison, who was in his second NHL game for the Flyers. Laid a big hit early in the game. I think he looked pretty sure with the puck, fairly fast. Tocchet talked about him in the after his NHL debut, playing stiff and playing with speed. So I liked his game. Vladar looked all right, but it was just kind of a weird game that ended in a bad play by Konecny and kind of a given up defensive play by Konecny. So weird game. Tocchet was happy with the way the Flyers hung in. Again, I'm not necessarily sure that it was the Flyers playing super well. I think it was more of the Vegas Golden Knights not playing as well as they could have. But look, at the end of the day, if you hang in that tough, got to come away with a win. The Flyers do get a point from this game, but ultimately fall 3-2 in overtime here in South Philadelphia to the Vegas Golden Knights.